Imagine a night sky, dark and vast, sprinkled with countless stars. Each star holds a story, each twinkle a whisper of ancient times. Myths are born from such whispers, weaving tales that captivate the heart and stir the soul. In the heart of a bustling village, where the warmth of the hearth contrasts with the cool night air, elders gather around the fire. Children sit wide-eyed, listening intently as the elders speak of creatures that haunt dreams and inspire awe. These tales, passed down through generations, are not mere stories but threads of a rich tapestry that bind communities together. The allure of mythologies lies in their power to transport us to a world where the impossible becomes possible. Where else can one encounter a dragon with breath of fire, a serpent with many heads, or a horse that rises from the depths of the sea? These creatures, bizarre and wonderful, ignite our imagination and challenge our understanding of the world. They represent the mysteries of nature and the complexities of the human mind. Mythical creatures often symbolize the fears and hopes of the people who created them. In ancient Greece, the Chimera, a beast with the body of a lion, the head of a goat, and the tail of a serpent, roamed the lands and stories, a representation of nature's unpredictability and the human struggle against overwhelming odds. The elders would describe how Bellerophon, a hero of great courage, faced this creature with nothing but his wits and a winged horse named Pegasus. The children's hearts would race, their imaginations painting vivid pictures of the epic battle. The Chimera was not just a monster, it was a symbol of the obstacles we all face, and Bellerophon's victory was a reminder of the courage within us. In the deserts of Egypt, the stories of Amit, the devourer of the dead, would send chills down the spines of listeners. Amit, part lion, part hippopotamus, and part crocodile, awaited the souls of the dead. If a soul's heart was found heavier than a feather, tainted by sin, Amit would devour it, condemning the person to oblivion. This terrifying creature was not just a myth, but a reflection of the values and beliefs of ancient Egyptians. It taught them the importance of living a righteous life and the consequences of straying from the path of virtue. Norse mythology, with its harsh landscapes and fierce gods, gave birth to creatures like Fenrir, the monstrous wolf destined to bring about the end of the world. Bound by the gods out of fear for his power, Fenrir's howls echoed through the ages, a constant reminder of the inevitable cycles of creation and destruction. The story of Fenrir is one of fate and defiance, of gods and monsters locked in an eternal struggle. It speaks to the fear of the unknown and the acceptance of life's impermanence. In the dense forests of ancient India, tales of Rakshasas, shape-shifting demons, filled the air. These creatures, with their cunning and malice, could take any form to deceive and destroy. Yet, they also embodied the duality of human nature, capable of both great evil and unexpected redemption. The epic battles between Rakshasas and heroes like Rama from the Ramayana were more than just fights between good and evil, they were narratives that explored the complexities of morality and the power of dharma, or righteous duty. Celtic legends spoke of the Puka, a mischievous spirit that could bring either good fortune or disaster. Appearing in various forms, from a dark horse to a goblin, the Puka was a symbol of the capricious nature of the world. These stories, told on long winter nights, reminded the villagers of the thin veil between the familiar and the unknown. The Puka's unpredictable nature echoed the uncertainties of life, teaching listeners to respect the forces beyond their control. Across the vast expanse of China, the majestic Chilin, a creature of good omen, roamed the legends. With the body of a deer, the tail of an ox, and the hooves of a horse, the Chilin was said to appear only during the reign of a wise and just ruler. Its presence was a blessing, a sign of prosperity and peace. Stories of the Chilin filled people with hope, inspiring them to strive for wisdom and justice in their own lives. These mythical creatures, born from the imaginations of ancient peoples, are more than just fantastical beings. They are expressions of the human condition, reflections of our deepest fears, hopes, and dreams. They connect us to our ancestors, to the landscapes they lived in, and to the values they held dear. As the fire crackles and the night grows darker, the elders' voices rise and fall, carrying the listeners to distant lands and times long past. The stories of bizarre creatures, strange and wonderful, weave their magic, leaving an indelible mark on all who hear them. These tales are not just entertainment, they are the heartbeat of a culture, the soul of a people. They remind us that, no matter how much the world changes, the power of a good story remains the same. The allure of mythologies lies in their ability to enchant and educate, to terrify and to inspire. Through the eyes of these ancient storytellers, we see the world anew, filled with wonder and possibility. And in the silence that follows each tale, we find ourselves dreaming of the stars, of the stories yet to be told, and the creatures that wait in the shadows, ready to leap into our imaginations. The night was still, the air thick with anticipation. In the village square, the flickering flames of the bonfire cast dancing shadows on the faces of those gathered around. An old storyteller, with a voice as ancient as the stones, began his tale. The children leaned in closer, their eyes wide with wonder. Long ago, in the rugged lands of Lycia, the storyteller began, there lived a creature so fearsome that its name struck terror into the hearts of all who heard it, the Chimera. The Chimera was no ordinary beast. It was a monstrous hybrid, a fusion of lion, goat, and serpent. The front of its body was that of a lion, with powerful legs and razor-sharp claws that could tear through armor. From its back sprouted the head of a goat, its eyes wild and fiery, and its horns curved and deadly. Its tail was a venomous serpent, writhing and hissing, ready to strike at any moment. But what truly made the Chimera terrifying was its breath, a fire so intense that it could reduce a man to ashes in an instant. The origin of the Chimera was shrouded in mystery. Some said it was born from the union of Typhon and Echidna, two of the most fearsome creatures in Greek mythology. Typhon, a giant with 100 dragon heads, and Echidna, half woman, half serpent, were known as the parents of monsters. Their offspring included the Hydra, Cerberus, and the Chimera. It was said that the Chimera was a symbol of nature's wild and uncontrollable power, a living nightmare sent to remind humans of their fragility. As the storyteller's words painted a vivid picture, the listeners felt a chill run down their spines. The Chimera's presence was so strong that it seemed to come alive in their minds. They could almost hear the roar of the lion, the bleating of the goat, and the hissing of the serpent. The storyteller's voice grew softer, drawing the listeners in even closer. But the Chimera was not just a monster to be feared, he said. It was also the subject of many stories and legends, tales of heroism and bravery that have been passed down through the ages. One of the most famous stories was that of Bellerophon, a hero of great courage and strength. Bellerophon was the son of Glaucus, king of Corinth, and he was known for his extraordinary abilities and noble heart. But even a hero like Bellerophon was not immune to the whims of fate. One day, Bellerophon was accused of a crime he did not commit and was sent to King Iobates of Lycia with a sealed letter. Unbeknownst to Bellerophon, the letter contained a message from the king of Corinth, asking Iobates to kill the bearer of the letter. King Iobates, not wanting to directly commit murder, devised a plan to rid himself of Bellerophon. He ordered the young hero to kill the Chimera, thinking it an impossible task. Bellerophon, however, was undaunted. He sought the help of the gods, and his prayers were answered by Athena, who provided him with a golden bridle to tame the winged horse, Pegasus. With Pegasus by his side, Bellerophon soared into the skies, ready to face the fearsome Chimera. The battle between Bellerophon and the Chimera was epic. High above the ground, Bellerophon attacked the beast from the back of Pegasus. The Chimera's fiery breath scorched the air, and its claws and fangs sought to bring down the hero. But Bellerophon was clever and brave. He used his spear to strike at the Chimera, avoiding its deadly flames and poisonous bites. The storyteller's voice grew intense, and the listeners could almost see the fierce battle unfolding before their eyes. They could feel the heat of the Chimera's breath and hear the clash of Bellerophon's spear against its scales. In a final, desperate move, Bellerophon thrust his spear deep into the Chimera's throat, using a block of lead attached to the tip. As the Chimera roared and spewed fire, the lead melted and flowed down its throat, choking the beast and finally putting an end to its terror. The villagers around the fire gasped in relief and awe, as if they had been right there with Bellerophon, fighting the Chimera themselves. The storyteller's words had transported them to another time and place, where heroes and monsters walked the earth. But the story of the Chimera did not end with its death. Its legacy lived on, a reminder of the heroism of Bellerophon and the power of the gods. The Chimera became a symbol of the challenges and trials that every person must face in their lifetime. It represented the obstacles that seem insurmountable but can be overcome with courage, intelligence, and a bit of divine help. The storyteller paused, letting the echoes of the tale settle into the hearts of the listeners. The fire crackled, and the night seemed to hold its breath, as if the Chimera itself was listening from the shadows. As the story came to a close, the children looked up at the stars, their minds filled with images of the Chimera and the hero who defeated it. They knew that they, too, would face their own Chimera one day. And when that time came, they would remember the tale of Bellerophon and find the strength to conquer their fears. The storyteller's voice faded, but the magic of the story lingered, a timeless echo in the night. The Chimera, with its lion's roar, goat's bleat, and serpent's hiss, would forever live on in the hearts and minds of those who heard its tale. The air was thick with tension, the kind that makes your heart pound and your skin prickle. The sun had just set, casting an eerie glow over the marshlands of Lerna. This was no ordinary night, for tonight, a hero would face a monster unlike any other, the Hydra. In the distance, a figure approached with steady determination. Hercules, the mightiest of heroes, had been tasked with a labor that seemed impossible. As part of his 12 labors, he had to slay the Hydra, a monstrous serpent with many heads. Each head was a deadly weapon, its fangs dripping with lethal venom. But the true terror of the Hydra lay in its regenerative power. For every head that was cut off, 2 more would grow in its place. The marshes of Lerna were silent, as if nature itself held its breath. Hercules, armed with his mighty club and a burning torch, stepped cautiously into the Hydra's lair. The scent of decay and poison filled the air, a warning of the beast that lurked within. With each step, the tension grew, the sense of impending doom weighing heavily on Hercules' broad shoulders. Suddenly, a hiss pierced the silence, sending chills down his spine. The Hydra emerged from the shadows, its head swaying like a grotesque dance of death. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent intelligence, and its scales gleamed in the faint light, a testament to its otherworldly strength. The ground seemed to tremble as the Hydra approached, its many heads weaving and striking with terrifying speed. Hercules, undeterred, swung his club with all his might. The impact was thunderous, severing one of the Hydra's heads. But no sooner had it fallen than 2 new heads emerged from the stump, hissing and snapping with renewed fury. The monster's regenerative power was truly a sight to behold, both wondrous and horrifying. The villagers, who had gathered at a safe distance, watched in awe and fear. They had heard tales of Hercules' strength and bravery, but the Hydras seemed invincible. Mothers clutched their children tighter, and the elderly whispered prayers to the gods. The tension was palpable, the outcome uncertain. Hercules knew he needed a different strategy. He remembered the advice of his wise friend, Iolaus, who had suggested using fire to cauterize the wounds and prevent the heads from regenerating. With renewed resolve, Hercules called out to Iolaus, who had accompanied him on this perilous quest. Together, they devised a plan that would turn the tide of battle. Hercules swung his club again, severing another head, and Iolaus immediately brought the torch to the wound, burning it closed. The Hydra screeched in agony, its thrashing growing more violent. Head after head, they repeated the process, the flames dancing in the darkness like beacons of hope. The marshes echoed with the sounds of battle, a symphony of struggle and defiance. Despite their efforts, the Hydra fought back with relentless ferocity. Its remaining heads lunged at Hercules, their venomous fangs narrowly missing him. The hero's muscles strained, his breath came in ragged gasps, but he refused to yield. The villagers watched in stunned silence, their hearts pounding in their chests. The outcome of this battle would determine their fate, their very lives hanging in the balance. With one final, mighty swing, Hercules severed the last head, and Iolaus quickly cauterized the wound. The Hydra's body convulsed, its death throes shaking the ground. Slowly, the monstrous form collapsed, its many heads lying still at last. The air was filled with the scent of burnt flesh and the quiet triumph of victory. The villagers erupted in cheers, their relief and gratitude overwhelming. Mothers wept tears of joy, fathers clapped each other on the back, and children stared wide-eyed at the fallen beast. Hercules stood tall, his chest heaving with exertion, but his eyes shone with a fierce pride. He had conquered the unconquerable, proving once again that even the mightiest of monsters could be defeated. But the victory came at a cost. Hercules bore the scars of the battle, his body marked by the venomous bites and the strain of the fight. He had faced the Hydra not just with his strength, but with his heart, his courage, and his unwavering determination. The villagers would tell this story for generations, a tale of heroism that would inspire countless others to face their own fears and challenges. The marshes of Lerna slowly returned to their quiet stillness, but the memory of the battle lingered. The Hydra's lair, once a place of dread, became a symbol of hope and resilience. Hercules, the hero who had faced the multi-headed serpent, would be remembered not just for his strength, but for his indomitable spirit. And as the villagers celebrated, they knew that they, too, had a hero within them, ready to rise when the world seemed darkest. In the dim light of dawn, a chilling legend took shape in the hearts and minds of those who dared to listen. Deep in the heart of Crete, beneath the grandeur of King Minos' palace, lay a labyrinth so complex that even the gods trembled at its design. Within this maze of endless corridors and dead ends dwelled a creature of nightmares, the Minotaur. Half man, half bull, its very existence was a curse, born from a union between Queen Pasiphae and a magnificent bull sent by Poseidon. The Minotaur's roars echoed through the stone walls, a haunting reminder of its relentless hunger. Its monstrous form towered over any man, with a bull's head that held eyes glowing with a mixture of rage and sorrow. Powerful muscles rippled beneath its coarse fur, and its horns were sharp enough to pierce steel. The people of Crete lived in perpetual fear, knowing that every 9 years, their city would have to pay tribute to the beast. 7 young men and 7 young women were sent into the labyrinth as sacrificial offerings, never to be seen again. Among the gathered crowd stood Theseus, the prince of Athens, with a heart burning with determination and defiance. He could no longer stand by as his people were subjected to this cruel fate. Volunteering himself as one of the sacrifices, he swore to end the Minotaur's reign of terror. His father, King Aegeus, reluctantly agreed, but not before making Theseus promise to raise white sails on his return if he succeeded, and black if he failed. The day arrived, and Theseus, along with the other tributes, was led to the labyrinth's entrance. The air was thick with tension, the oppressive silence broken only by the distant, fearsome roars of the Minotaur. As Theseus prepared to enter, Ariadne, the daughter of King Minos, approached him. Moved by his bravery and struck by love, she handed him a ball of thread. "Tie this to the entrance," she whispered, "and unravel it as you go. It will guide you back." With a grateful nod, Theseus stepped into the labyrinth. Darkness swallowed him, and the labyrinth's cold stone walls seemed to close in. He tied the thread to the entrance and began to move forward, each step a whisper of defiance against the fate that awaited him. The labyrinth twisted and turned, a cruel maze designed to confuse and disorient. Theseus' heart pounded, but he remained resolute, the thread his lifeline in the encroaching blackness. Hours seemed like days as he wandered the endless corridors. Suddenly, a faint, rhythmic sound reached his ears, heavy breathing, resonating with a bestial growl. Theseus' grip tightened on his sword, his pulse quickening. The Minotaur was near. The air grew heavy with the scent of fear and decay, a testament to the lives lost within these walls. Turning a corner, Theseus faced the Minotaur. The creature's eyes locked onto his, and a chilling roar filled the labyrinth, shaking its very foundations. The Minotaur charged, its horns aimed to impale, but Theseus was ready. With a swift sidestep, he dodged the attack, his sword striking the beast's side. The Minotaur bellowed in pain and fury, swinging its powerful arms in a frenzied attack. The battle was fierce, each clash of sword against horn a testament to Theseus' skill and determination. Blood and sweat mingled as the two adversaries fought for their lives. The Minotaur, driven by rage and instinct, was relentless, but Theseus, fueled by a sense of justice and the hope of his people, matched the beast's fury. With a final, desperate lunge, Theseus plunged his sword deep into the Minotaur's heart. The beast staggered, its roars turning to pained groans as it collapsed. The labyrinth fell silent, the oppressive weight of fear lifting as the Minotaur drew its last breath. Theseus stood victorious, his body trembling with exhaustion and relief. He had done the impossible. Retracing his steps with the thread, Theseus made his way back to the entrance, where the dawn's light began to creep into the labyrinth. The survivors, hearing the quiet and seeing the hero emerge, erupted in joyous cries. Theseus had not only freed them but had ended a dark chapter in their history. Upon returning to Athens, Theseus was celebrated as a hero. However, his joy was tempered by a tragic mistake. In his excitement and relief, he forgot to change the sails from black to white. King Aegeus, watching anxiously from the cliffs, saw the black sails and, consumed by grief, believed his son had perished. In despair, he threw himself into the sea, which would forever bear his name, the Aegean Sea. Theseus' victory over the Minotaur was bittersweet, marked by both triumph and tragedy. The tale of the bull-headed monster and the labyrinth became a legend, a story of bravery, sacrifice, and the cost of heroism. The memory of the Minotaur and the labyrinth would live on, a reminder of the darkness that once threatened their world and the light that ultimately prevailed. In the heart of ancient Egypt, under the silent watch of the pyramids, lay the secrets of the afterlife. Among these secrets was a creature so fearsome, so relentless, that even the bravest souls trembled at the mere thought of encountering it. This creature was Amit, the devourer of the dead. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the land of the living, the journey of the deceased to the afterlife began. It was said that upon death, every soul embarked on a perilous voyage through the underworld, guided by Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification and the afterlife. But the final destination was not guaranteed. At the end of this journey lay the Hall of Maat, where the most critical test awaited. Inside the Grand Hall of Maat, the air was heavy with anticipation. The walls were adorned with hieroglyphs telling tales of gods and kings, and the floor was a polished black stone that seemed to absorb all light. At the center of the hall stood a massive set of scales, gleaming in the dim light. On one side of the scales lay the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth and justice. It was a delicate, pristine feather that held the power to determine a soul's fate. Before the scales stood the soul of the deceased, trembling and uncertain. The gods watched silently, their expressions unreadable. Anubis, with his keen eyes, took the heart of the deceased and placed it on the opposite side of the scales from the feather. The heart, heavy with the weight of deeds done in life, was to be measured against the feather's pure lightness. This was the moment of truth. The scales tipped, wavered, and then stilled. The gods leaned in, their faces reflecting the tension that filled the hall. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the soul was deemed pure and granted passage to the field of reeds, a paradise where they would live in eternal happiness. But if the heart was heavier, burdened with sin and impurity, the fate awaiting was far darker. From the shadows emerged Amit, her presence sending a shiver through the hall. She was a terrifying amalgamation of the fiercest creatures, the head of a crocodile, the body of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. Her eyes gleamed with a predatory hunger, and her teeth were sharp, ready to tear into the condemned. As Amit approached, the doomed soul quivered in terror, knowing that there would be no mercy. Amit's nostrils flared as she sniffed the air, sensing the fear and despair. Her jaws opened wide, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. The condemned soul's pleas for mercy went unheard. In an instant, Amit lunged forward, her jaws closing around the heart with a sickening crunch. The gods turned away, their faces solemn. The soul, now devoid of any hope, was consumed by Amit. The devourer of the dead showed no remorse as she feasted on the heart, her powerful jaws reducing it to nothing. The condemned soul was erased from existence, doomed to eternal oblivion. In the eyes of the ancient Egyptians, this was a fate far worse than death. Amit's role in the afterlife was a grim reminder of the importance of living a life of virtue and honesty. The fear of facing Amit drove the living to uphold Maat, the principles of truth, balance, and order. To the ancient Egyptians, Amit was not just a monster but a necessary force, ensuring that only the worthy could enter the paradise of the afterlife. The Hall of Myat, with its silent gods and gleaming scales, remained a place of profound judgment. Each soul's heart was weighed with the same impartial justice, and Amit was ever present, ready to claim those who failed the test. The legends of Amit spread far and wide, a tale told by the flickering light of oil lamps, sending chills down the spines of those who listened. In the quiet moments of the night, when the desert wind whispered through the sands and the stars shone brightly above, the people of Egypt would look to the heavens and remember the story of Amit. They would think of the scales of Myat and the feather of truth, and they would strive to live lives that would ensure their hearts would be light when their time came. Amit, the devourer of the dead, remained an indelible part of the ancient Egyptian understanding of the afterlife. Her image, fierce and unyielding, was etched into the tombs and temples, a stark warning to all who saw it. She was a guardian of the balance, a creature of both horror and necessity, whose presence ensured that the afterlife was a place of purity and eternal peace for the worthy. And so, the tale of Amit continued to be told, a timeless story of judgment, fear, and the eternal struggle between good and evil. In the heart of ancient Egypt, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the land was cloaked in the shadow of fear. Each night, a cosmic battle unfolded, one that determined the fate of the world. This was the eternal struggle between Ra, the sun god, and Apep, the serpent of chaos. As the sun set, the sky turned a deep crimson, and the world braced for the onslaught of darkness. Ra, in his majestic solar bark, embarked on his nightly journey through the underworld. His radiant light, a beacon of hope and order, guided the way. But lurking in the abyss, waiting with bated breath, was Apep. This monstrous serpent, born of the darkest chaos, embodied all that threatened the balance of the universe. Apep's form was terrifying, a colossal serpent with scales as black as the void, eyes that burned with malice, and a maw wide enough to swallow the sun. The very sight of Apep sent chills through the souls of gods and mortals alike. As Ra's bark sailed through the treacherous waters of the underworld, the tension grew, a palpable sense of dread hanging in the air. Suddenly, the waters began to churn violently. A sinister hiss echoed through the darkness, a sound that seemed to freeze time itself. Apep had awakened. The serpent's immense body writhed and twisted, creating waves that threatened to capsize Ra's bark. The guardians of the solar boat, fierce gods and warriors, readied their weapons, their faces set with grim determination. Apep lunged from the depths, his jaws snapping inches from Ra's golden vessel. The clash was immediate and brutal. The guardians fought valiantly, their weapons striking Apep's impenetrable scales with little effect. Ra, standing tall and resolute, focused his divine power, his eyes blazing with the light of 1,000 suns. He knew that the survival of the world hinged on this battle. The serpent's hisses grew louder, each one a promise of destruction and chaos. With a mighty roar, Apep launched himself at the bark, his body coiling around it, squeezing with the strength of 100 storms. The vessel creaked under the pressure, the gods within struggling to maintain their balance. Ra raised his scepter, channeling his divine energy into a beam of pure sunlight, aimed directly at Apep. The light struck Apep with blinding intensity, causing the serpent to recoil with a deafening screech. The waters around them boiled, steam rising in thick clouds. But Apep was not easily defeated. With renewed fury, he attacked again, his serpentine body thrashing wildly. The battle raged on, a titanic struggle of light against darkness, order against chaos. The gods fought with unwavering courage, their shouts mingling with the roars of the serpent and the commands of Ra. The bark rocked violently, each wave a reminder of the relentless power of Apep. The serpent's eyes, filled with ancient malice, locked onto Ra, sensing that the time for a final strike had come. Summoning all his strength, Ra stood at the bow of the bark, his form glowing with the essence of the sun. He chanted ancient incantations, his voice resonating with the power of creation itself. The light around him intensified, casting long shadows that danced wildly in the chaos. With a final, earth-shattering roar, Ra unleashed his full power, a torrent of sunlight that enveloped Apep. The serpent writhed in agony, his form illuminated in stark contrast to the surrounding darkness. The light pierced his scales, searing his flesh, and driving him back into the depths. The waters calmed, the violent churning subsiding as Apep retreated, his hisses fading into the distance. The guardians cheered, their spirits lifted by the sight of their god's victory. Ra, his light dimming slightly from the immense exertion, steadied the bark. The journey through the underworld continued, but the immediate threat had passed. As dawn approached, Ra's bark emerged from the darkness, heralding the return of the sun. The sky lit up with brilliant hues of gold and pink, a testament to the triumph of order over chaos. The people of Egypt, waking with the first light of day, felt a collective sense of relief. They knew that Ra had once again defeated Apep, ensuring the continuation of life and harmony. Yet, they also understood that this battle was eternal, a nightly reminder of the delicate balance that held their world together. Apep, though defeated, was never truly vanquished. Each night, as darkness fell, the serpent of chaos would rise again, ready to challenge the sun god in an unending cycle of conflict. The story of Apep and Ra became a symbol of the eternal struggle between light and darkness, hope and despair. It was a tale told by the flickering light of oil lamps, a story that resonated deeply with the fears and hopes of the ancient Egyptians. In the quiet moments of twilight, as the sun dipped once more below the horizon, the people would whisper prayers to Ra, asking for his strength and protection. They would look to the sky, their hearts filled with both dread and anticipation, knowing that the cosmic battle would soon begin again. And through it all, the legend of Apep, the serpent of chaos, and Ra, the god of the sun, would live on, a timeless reminder of the fragile balance that governed their world. As the first light of dawn touched the sacred waters of the Nile, a figure of extraordinary beauty and mystery appeared on the horizon. This was Benu, the mythical bird whose presence captivated the hearts and minds of all who witnessed its splendor. Perched on the tip of an ancient obelisk, Benu's feathers shimmered with hues of gold and crimson, a beacon of hope and renewal in a land ruled by gods and pharaohs. The Egyptians believed Benu was a divine bird, embodying the essence of creation and resurrection. Each morning, as the sun god Ra embarked on his journey across the sky, Benu would rise from the waters, spreading its magnificent wings and singing a song so pure and haunting it brought tears to the eyes of those who heard it. This song, they said, was the hymn of life itself, echoing the cycles of birth, death, and rebirth that governed all existence. Benu's origin was as ancient as the sands of Egypt. Legend spoke of a time when the world was nothing but a vast, primordial ocean called Nun. Out of this chaos emerged a single, radiant bird, Benu, heralding the dawn of creation. It flew over the waters, its wings beating rhythmically, and came to rest on a solitary rock. As it landed, a great mound rose from the waters, and from this mound, life began to flourish. Benu's cry marked the first morning, and with it, the world was born. The Egyptians saw Benu as a symbol of immortality and regeneration. Just as the sun set each night and rose again each morning, Benu's life was a cycle of death and rebirth. It was said that Benu lived for hundreds of years, and when its time came to an end, it built a nest of aromatic wood and spices. There, it would ignite into flames, consumed by fire, only to rise anew from its ashes, reborn and more magnificent than before. This wondrous cycle of renewal made Benu a powerful symbol of hope and resilience. In a world where the forces of chaos and order were constantly at war, Benu's eternal return reassured the people that life would always prevail over death, that light would always conquer darkness. The bird's image adorned temples and tombs, a testament to its significance in the Egyptian belief system. One of the most profound connections Benu had was with the phoenix, a mythical bird of Greek lore. The Greeks, who were deeply influenced by Egyptian culture, saw Benu and envisioned their own version of this majestic creature. The phoenix, like Benu, was a bird of fire and renewal, living for centuries before perishing in flames and rising from its own ashes. Both birds represented the cyclical nature of time and the indomitable spirit of life. Stories of Benu and the phoenix spread far and wide, crossing deserts and seas, inspiring countless generations with their message of rebirth and eternal life. In Egypt, Benu's sacred sanctuary was the temple of Ra at Heliopolis, the city of the sun. Here, priests tended to its altar, offering prayers and incense, honoring the bird that bridged the mortal world and the divine. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow over the land, a young girl named Neferu stood by the banks of the Nile. She had heard the tales of Benu from her grandmother, who spoke of the bird's beauty and power with reverence and awe. Neferu's heart swelled with longing as she gazed at the sky, hoping to catch a glimpse of the sacred bird. As the stars began to twinkle, a soft, melodious sound filled the air. It was unlike anything Neferu had ever heard, a song that seemed to come from the very soul of the world. She looked up, and there, against the backdrop of the night sky, was Benu. Its feathers glowed with an ethereal light, and its eyes shone with wisdom and compassion. Neferu watched in silent wonder as Benu descended gracefully, landing on the ancient obelisk that stood by the river. The bird's presence filled her with a sense of peace and hope. She felt as though she were witnessing something sacred, a glimpse of the divine. Benu's song resonated in her heart, a reminder of the endless cycles of life and the promise of renewal. As the bird took flight once more, disappearing into the night, Neferu felt a renewed sense of purpose. She understood now that Benu's message was one of resilience and faith, that even in the darkest times, there was always the promise of a new dawn. The story of Benu continued to be told through the ages, a beacon of hope in a world often overshadowed by uncertainty. The mythical bird's tale transcended time and culture, inspiring not only the people of Egypt but all who heard its song. Benu's legacy lived on, a timeless symbol of the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. As Neferu grew older, she passed down the story of Benu to her own children, ensuring that the bird's message would never be forgotten. The legend of Benu, like the bird itself, was immortal, a testament to the enduring power of hope and the unyielding spirit of life. And so, in the hearts and minds of those who believed, Benu soared eternally, a radiant symbol of renewal and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. In the icy, shadowy realms of Norse mythology, where gods and giants roamed and the air itself seemed to hum with ancient power, there existed a creature whose very name struck terror into the hearts of even the bravest warriors. This creature was Fenrir, the monstrous wolf destined to play a pivotal role in the end of the world. Born of Loki, the trickster god, and the giantess Angerboda, Fenrir was no ordinary wolf. From the moment of his birth, it was clear that Fenrir was extraordinary. He grew at an alarming rate, his strength and size increasing day by day. The gods, ever watchful of prophecies and omens, knew that Fenrir was no mere beast. They had heard the seers speak of the wolf's terrible fate, foretelling a time when he would bring destruction to the world and even to the gods themselves. As Fenrir grew, his power became undeniable. His eyes burned with a fierce intelligence, and his jaws, capable of swallowing entire mountains, became symbols of impending doom. The gods, despite their might, were wary of Fenrir. They understood the prophecy well. Fenrir was fated to break free from any bonds, to unleash chaos, and to bring about Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. The gods decided that Fenrir needed to be restrained. They devised cunning plans and forged chains that they believed could hold him. The first chain, called Latting, was thick and strong, but Fenrir snapped it as if it were a mere thread. The second chain, Dromi, was twice as strong, forged by the greatest blacksmiths of Asgard. Yet, Fenrir shattered it with a single powerful shake of his massive body. The gods were growing desperate. They sought out the dwarves, the master craftsmen who lived deep within the earth, and commissioned them to create a chain that could hold Fenrir. The dwarves, with their unparalleled skill, crafted Gleipnir, a ribbon-like chain made from 6 magical ingredients: the sound of a cat's footfall, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the sinews of a bear, the breath of a fish, and the spittle of a bird. Though it appeared delicate, Gleipnir was imbued with enchantments that made it unbreakable. The gods approached Fenrir with Gleipnir, their faces masks of calm while their hearts pounded with anxiety. They spoke to Fenrir, masking their intentions with playful words, challenging him to break free from this new chain. Fenrir, suspicious of the gods' motives, agreed to the test only if one of the gods would place their hand in his mouth as a sign of good faith. Tyr, the bravest of the gods, stepped forward without hesitation. He placed his right hand between Fenrir's fearsome jaws, knowing well the sacrifice he was making. The gods bound Fenrir with Gleipnir, the ribbon wrapping around the great wolf like silk. Fenrir tensed, pulling and straining against the chain, but this time, he could not break free. Realizing the trickery, Fenrir's jaws closed with a snap, severing Tyr's hand. Bound by Gleipnir, Fenrir was taken to a remote island, where he was tethered to a massive boulder with a sword placed between his jaws to keep them open. The gods believed they had averted disaster, but the prophecies remained, whispering of the inevitable. Years passed, and the world continued its course. But as the signs of Ragnarok began to emerge, harsh winters, ceaseless wars, and a sun that seemed to shine a little dimmer each day, the gods knew that Fenrir's time was coming. The earth trembled as the bonds that held Fenrir began to weaken. On the day of Ragnarok, the sky itself seemed to shatter as Fenrir broke free from his chains, his roars echoing across the 9 realms. His massive form cast a shadow over the land, his eyes blazing with a fury that had been restrained for far too long. Fenrir, filled with an insatiable hunger for vengeance, set his sights on the gods, particularly Odin, the All-Father. In the final battle, the clash between Fenrir and Odin was a sight of unimaginable ferocity. Odin, riding his mighty steed Sleipnir, faced Fenrir with the spear Gungnir in hand. The two forces collided, the ground shaking beneath their might. Fenrir, with his enormous strength and unyielding rage, proved to be a foe like no other. Despite Odin's wisdom and power, the prophecy came true. Fenrir overcame the All-Father, devouring him in a single, dreadful bite. But Fenrir's reign of terror was not without consequence. Odin's son, Vidar, driven by a desire to avenge his father, confronted the monstrous wolf. With a magical shoe designed for this very moment, Vidar stepped into Fenrir's mouth, using all his strength to pry the jaws apart. With a mighty effort, Vidar defeated Fenrir, ending the beast's life but not the destruction he had caused. The Battle of Ragnarok marked the end of an era, a time of great upheaval where the old world was consumed by fire and chaos. Yet, from the ashes of this cataclysmic event, a new world began to take shape, reborn in the cycle of destruction and creation. The tales of Fenrir, the monstrous wolf who played a central role in this apocalyptic saga, continue to be told, a reminder of the power of fate and the eternal struggle between order and chaos. In the hearts of those who remembered the stories, Fenrir remained a symbol of inevitable destiny, a beast whose existence was a testament to the unpredictable nature of the world and the forces that shape it. His story, filled with terror and tragedy, underscored the delicate balance of the cosmos, a balance that could be upended by the wrath of a single, fearsome creature. In the icy waters that encircled Midgard, a shadow stirred beneath the waves. This was no ordinary shadow. It was Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, a creature so vast and fearsome that it wrapped its colossal body around the world, biting its own tail. Born of Loki and the giantess Angrboda, Jormungandr was a symbol of chaos and destruction, destined to play a crucial role in the end times. As the serpent slumbered, the gods of Asgard were always on edge, aware of the threat it posed. Among them was Thor, the god of thunder, whose encounters with Jormungandr would become the stuff of legends. Their first meeting was fraught with tension, a clash of titanic forces that would leave an indelible mark on the cosmos. One fateful day, Thor and his companion Tyr embarked on a fishing trip with the giant Hymir. Their destination was the deepest part of the ocean, where they hoped to catch the greatest fish. But Thor had a different catch in mind. He brought with him a giant hook and the head of an ox's bait, knowing that only something truly monstrous would bite. As their boat drifted over the dark waters, Thor cast his line, the ox's head sinking into the abyss. Minutes felt like hours, and the gods watched in silence, the air thick with anticipation. Suddenly, there was a tug, then a pull so strong it nearly capsized the boat. Thor's muscles bulged as he gripped the line, his eyes blazing with determination. He knew he had hooked Jormungandr. The sea boiled and frothed as the serpent rose from the depths, its scales glistening with a sinister sheen. The sight of Jormungandr's immense form emerging from the water sent chills down the spines of all who beheld it. Its eyes, filled with ancient malice, locked onto Thor, recognizing the god who dared to challenge it. Thor braced himself as Jormungandr's head broke the surface, the serpent's mouth opening to reveal rows of razor-sharp teeth. The god of thunder summoned all his strength, lifting his mighty hammer Mjolnir, ready to strike. But before he could deliver the blow, Hymir, terrified by the sight of the serpent, cut the line. Jormungandr vanished beneath the waves, leaving Thor furious and determined to face the beast again. Years passed, and the tales of Thor's encounter with Jormungandr spread far and wide. But their story was far from over. The prophecy of Ragnarok loomed, foretelling a final battle that would decide the fate of gods and men. It was during this apocalyptic event that Thor and Jormungandr would meet again, in a confrontation that would shake the very foundations of the world. As the signs of Ragnarok appeared, bitter winters, ceaseless wars, and the breaking of bonds, the gods prepared for the inevitable. The sky darkened, the earth trembled, and the oceans churned as Jormungandr awoke, sensing the end times were near. The serpent's movements caused tidal waves that swallowed entire lands, its fury signaling the final battle. On the plains of Vigrid, the armies of gods and giants clashed in a cataclysmic struggle. Thor, his heart ablaze with the fire of battle, sought out Jormungandr. He knew that this confrontation was destined, a battle that had been written in the stars long before he was born. The ground shook as Jormungandr emerged, its colossal form towering over the battlefield. Thor's eyes met those of the serpent, and in that moment, time seemed to stand still. The air crackled with energy as Thor raised Mjolnir, lightning arcing from the hammer's head. With a roar that echoed across the 9 realms, Thor charged at Jormungandr, each step a testament to his unyielding courage. Jormungandr struck with lightning speed, its jaws snapping inches from Thor's head. The god of thunder swung Mjolnir with all his might, the hammer connecting with the serpent's skull in a thunderous impact. The ground split open, and the sky lit up as the two titans clashed. Thor's hammer strikes were relentless, each blow fueled by his desire to protect the world from this harbinger of doom. The battle raged on, the fury of their conflict felt in every corner of the cosmos. Jormungandr's venomous breath filled the air, toxic fumes that would spell death for any mortal. But Thor fought on, undeterred by the serpent's lethal attacks. He knew that the fate of Midgard depended on his victory. With one final, titanic effort, Thor summoned all his strength and hurled Mjolnir with a force that shattered the air. The hammer struck Jormungandr with such power that the serpent's massive body convulsed, its scales cracking under the impact. The Midgard serpent let out a deafening roar, its body collapsing into the sea, causing waves that surged for miles. Thor, exhausted but triumphant, watched as Jormungandr sank beneath the waves. The prophecy had been fulfilled, but at a great cost. The serpent's venom had seeped into Thor's veins during their battle, a poison so potent that even the god of thunder could not withstand it. With his final breath, Thor fell, knowing he had saved the world from unimaginable destruction. The story of Thor and Jormungandr is one of the most powerful tales in Norse mythology. It speaks of bravery, destiny, and the eternal struggle between order and chaos. The Midgard serpent, with its fearsome presence and devastating power, and Thor, with his indomitable spirit, will forever be remembered as symbols of the epic battles that shaped the cosmos. In the hearts of those who hear this tale, there remains a sense of awe and respect for the sacrifices made and the courage shown. The legend of Jormungandr and Thor endures, a timeless reminder of the power of myth and the enduring legacy of the gods. In the shadowy depths of Niflheim, where the icy winds howled and darkness reigned, a creature of nightmarish majesty stirred. Nidhog, the dragon of Niflheim, was a being of ancient power and malevolent intent, whose presence alone was enough to chill the soul and stir the heart with dread. Nidhog's story was intertwined with the very fabric of the cosmos, for it played a crucial role in the fate of Yggdrasil, the great cosmic tree that held the world together. Yggdrasil, with its sprawling branches and deep roots, was the axis of all existence. Its vast canopy reached across the 9 realms, connecting the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. It was a living embodiment of the universe, its roots and branches sustaining all life. But beneath this majestic tree, in the shadowy abyss of Niflheim, Nidhogg lurked, its existence a constant threat to the harmony of the cosmos. Nidhogg was not merely a beast of destruction, it was a symbol of the forces that sought to tear apart the very order of the world. The dragon's form was immense and terrible, its scales like dark metal, and its eyes glowed with a sinister, unholy light. Its breath was as cold as the void, and its claws were like shards of ice, capable of rending the fabric of reality itself. At the roots of Yggdrasil, where the tree's life force was most vulnerable, Nidhog made its lair. It gnawed ceaselessly at the roots, its teeth sharp and unyielding. The dragon's task was no idle pursuit, it was part of a cosmic balance, a dark necessity to counteract the forces of creation. Each bite and gnaw of Nidhog was a reminder of the ever-present threat of decay and destruction, a counterpoint to the life-giving energy of Yggdrasil. The dragon's relentless gnawing was not without consequence. As it chewed at the roots, it created tremors that rippled through the realms, unsettling the balance of existence. The gods, aware of Nidhog's influence, knew that the health of Yggdrasil was directly tied to the fate of the world. The tree's vitality was crucial to the stability of all realms, and Nidhog's constant assault threatened to unravel the very threads of creation. The ancient Norse text spoke of a time when Yggdrasil would be threatened not just by Nidhogg but by the very end of days. In the twilight of the gods, during the apocalyptic event known as Ragnarok, Nidhogg's role would become even more pivotal. As the world fell into chaos, the dragon would rise from the depths, its hunger for destruction matched only by the fierce battles that would unfold across the cosmos. In this dark prophecy, Nidhogg's ultimate goal was clear: to consume the roots of Yggdrasil entirely, bringing about the collapse of the cosmic tree, and, with it, the end of all existence. As the dragon gnawed away, it was not just a creature of mindless destruction but a force of entropy and decay, embodying the inevitable decline that comes to all things. But despite the ominous role of Nidhogg, there was a profound beauty in the balance it represented. Its presence reminded the gods and the beings of the 9 realms of the delicate equilibrium that sustained life. Without the threat of decay, the cycle of life and renewal would lose its meaning. Nidhogg, in its dark majesty, was a counterbalance to the creation and order that Yggdrasil represented. In the frost-covered world of Niflheim, where the winds howled and the ice cracked, Nidhogg was more than just a beast of the abyss. It was a harbinger of change, a force that drove the cosmic cycle of life and death. Its endless gnawing at the roots of Yggdrasil was both a curse and a reminder, a symbol of the eternal struggle between creation and destruction. As the tales of old tell, Nidhogg's actions were not just a threat to the gods, but a reflection of the cyclical nature of existence. The dragon's relentless pursuit of the roots of Yggdrasil served as a reminder of the inevitability of change and the need for renewal. Even as it sought to bring about the end of the world, it played a vital role in the ever-turning wheel of life, ensuring that the balance of the cosmos remained intact. Nidhogg's presence in the dark reaches of Niflheim was a testament to the complexity of the world's mythological tapestry. It was a creature of dread and destruction, yet it was also a crucial part of the cosmic order. Its role in the story of Yggdrasil was a reminder that even in the face of darkness, there was a purpose and a balance that held the universe together. In the end, the story of Nidhogg and its gnawing at Yggdrasil's roots is a tale of both terror and awe. It speaks to the deep and ancient fears that lie at the heart of existence, and it reminds us of the delicate balance that sustains the world. As the dragon's shadow looms over the cosmic tree, its tale continues to resonate through the ages, a powerful symbol of the eternal dance between creation and destruction. In the endless expanse of the ancient world, where chaos reigned supreme and the very fabric of existence was yet to be woven, there lurked a primordial force of unimaginable power. This was Tiamat, the great dragon of chaos, whose very presence symbolized the raw, untamed energy that predated the cosmos. Her story is one of cosmic struggle and transformation, a tale that would shape the foundations of creation itself. Tiamat's form was a terrifying sight. Her scales were as dark as the void and her eyes glowed with the fury of the tempest. Her body twisted and coiled in the darkness of the primeval abyss, a chaos so profound it made the heart tremble. Tiamat was not merely a dragon, she was the embodiment of the chaotic waters that existed before the world was born, a force that threatened to engulf all that was and would be. In the beginning, there was only chaos, a swirling maelstrom of untamed elements. From this primordial chaos, the gods began to emerge, their forms and natures taking shape in the turbulent void. Among them was Marduk, a young and powerful deity who would come to challenge Tiamat and bring order to the cosmos. The gods, sensing the need to impose structure upon the chaos, recognized that Tiamat was the greatest obstacle in their path. Her raw power was a force of destruction that seemed unstoppable, a storm that would never abate unless confronted. Thus, a great battle was inevitable, one that would decide the fate of the universe. As the gods prepared for the confrontation, Tiamat roared in defiance. Her voice was like the cracking of thunder, her breath like the fiery winds of the abyss. She called upon her own army of monstrous creatures, beasts of chaos that swarmed around her, their forms grotesque and their eyes burning with madness. The sight of these creatures was enough to strike fear into even the bravest of hearts, a testament to the sheer scale of Tiamat's wrath. The gods assembled their forces, led by Marduk, who was chosen for his strength and courage. Marduk's own power was formidable, but he knew that defeating Tiamat would require not only strength but also cunning. With a heart full of resolve, Marduk stepped forward to face the dragon of chaos, his eyes shining with a fierce determination. The battle between Marduk and Tiamat was a clash of titans, a struggle that shook the very foundations of the cosmos. Tiamat lashed out with her mighty tail, her roar echoing across the heavens. Marduk met her fury with his own divine power, his weapon, a weapon forged by the gods themselves, shining with an otherworldly light. The heavens trembled as their battle raged on, the clash of their forces causing explosions of energy that rippled through the fabric of reality. Tiamat, with her chaotic might, was a storm of destruction, her every movement a testament to the power of the primordial forces. Marduk, with his unwavering resolve, fought with all his strength, each strike of his weapon carving through the chaos. In a final, cataclysmic clash, Marduk struck Tiamat with a blow that shattered the very essence of her being. The dragon's roar was a sound of ultimate despair as her form disintegrated, her chaotic energy being torn apart by the force of Marduk's attack. The cosmic battle reached its climax, and Tiamat fell, her body breaking apart and scattering into the void. With Tiamat's defeat, the primordial chaos began to recede. The gods, having witnessed the destruction of their greatest foe, knew that they could now shape the cosmos according to their will. The remains of Tiamat were used to form the heavens and the earth, her body becoming the building blocks of the new world. Her chaotic essence, once a force of terror, was now transformed into the very fabric of creation. Marduk, having vanquished Tiamat, became a symbol of order and creation. He established the structure of the universe, dividing the heavens from the earth, the land from the sea. The chaos that once threatened to engulf all existence was now channeled into the formation of a structured and ordered world. The story of Tiamat, the primordial chaos dragon, is a tale of both terror and transformation. Her defeat marked the end of an era of chaos and the beginning of a new age of order. Her legacy lived on in the very structure of the cosmos, a reminder of the power and potential of creation, forged from the struggle against the forces of darkness. In the hearts of those who remember the tale, Tiamat's story is a testament to the eternal struggle between chaos and order. It is a story that resonates through the ages, a powerful reminder of the primal forces that shape the world and the gods who harnessed those forces to bring about the universe's creation. The dragon's roar and the clash of divine power are echoes of a time when the very fabric of existence was forged in the fires of cosmic struggle. In the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, where myths wove through the very fabric of reality, there roamed a creature of unparalleled ferocity and cunning. Enzo, the lion-headed eagle, was a being of both terror and majesty, whose actions would set in motion events that would shake the heavens themselves. His story, steeped in both grandeur and treachery, began with a singular act that would alter the fate of the cosmos, the theft of the Tablet of Destinies. Enzo was no ordinary creature. His massive wings spanned the heavens, and his lion's head roared with the power of a storm. His eyes, fierce and unyielding, saw through the layers of existence, and his talons, sharp as obsidian, could rend the very fabric of reality. To the gods, Enzo was a symbol of overwhelming power and a threat that could not be ignored. The Tablet of Destinies was an artifact of immense importance, a divine object that held the decrees of the universe. It was said that whoever possessed the tablet had the power to control the fate of all beings, to bend the course of time and destiny to their will. It was guarded by the god Enlil, who watched over it with unwavering vigilance. The tablet was not merely a relic, it was the cornerstone of divine order, the key to the cosmic balance. Enzo, driven by ambition and a desire for power, coveted the tablet of destinies. His heart burned with envy, and his mind was consumed by the thought of seizing control of the universe itself. The time was ripe for his audacious plan. With cunning and stealth, Enzo approached the sacred realm where the tablet was kept, a place of divine splendor and impenetrable security. Under the cover of darkness, Enzo soared through the skies, his enormous wings casting long shadows over the land below. His approach was silent, a testament to his skill and determination. As he neared the celestial realm, he could feel the power of the tablet, its energy pulsating like a heartbeat that resonated with the very core of creation. Enlil, the guardian of the tablet, was aware of the danger that loomed. The gods had sensed a disturbance, a ripple in the fabric of fate that foretold a grave threat. Yet, Enzo's cunning was unmatched, and he used his knowledge of the divine wards and protections to evade detection. With a final, powerful thrust of his wings, he breached the sacred sanctuary and snatched the tablet from its resting place. The moment Enzo grasped the tablet, the heavens trembled. The cosmic balance shifted, and the once orderly flow of fate became chaotic and unpredictable. The gods awoke to the realization of the theft, their hearts filled with dread as they saw the tablet in Enzo's grasp. The roar of Enzo as he ascended into the sky was a sound of triumph, a declaration that he had claimed a power beyond comprehension. The gods, led by Enlil, were not idle. They rallied their forces and prepared for a confrontation, for the theft of the tablet threatened not just their power, but the very fabric of existence. They knew that retrieving the tablet was not merely about recovering an artifact, but restoring the cosmic order. The stakes were nothing less than the fate of the universe itself. Enzo, now in possession of the tablet, reveled in his newfound power. He used it to sow discord and chaos, manipulating destinies and challenging the very order that had once been unquestioned. His reign of terror spread like wildfire, a dark shadow over the realms that once knew peace and stability. The battle to reclaim the tablet was fierce and unrelenting. The gods, guided by Enlil's wisdom and determination, engaged Enzo in a struggle that was as much about restoring balance as it was about revenge. The skies blazed with divine fury, and the earth shook with the force of their conflict. The lion-headed eagle fought with a ferocity that matched the god's resolve, his power amplified by the tablet's influence. In the midst of this cosmic clash, the gods waged a battle of wits and strength, each strike and maneuver calculated to overcome the lion-headed eagle's formidable defenses. Enzo's cunning was legendary, and he used every trick and advantage to maintain his hold on the tablet. But the gods were relentless, driven by the necessity of restoring the order that had been so violently disrupted. Finally, in a moment of high drama and intense conflict, Enlil himself confronted Enzo. The god's presence was overwhelming, a force of divine authority that clashed with Enzo's chaotic power. The confrontation was a dramatic clash of wills and forces, with Enlil's determination and strength pitted against Enzo's audacious ambition. With a final, decisive strike, Enlil managed to wrest the Tablet of Destinies from Enzo's grasp. The lion-headed eagle's roar of defeat was a sound of despair and anger, his dreams of power slipping away as the tablet was returned to its rightful place. The gods, victorious but exhausted, began the process of restoring balance and order to the universe. Enzo's defeat was a moment of both relief and reflection. The tablet was safe, but the cosmos had been shaken to its core. The gods understood that the theft of the tablet was a reminder of the ever-present threat of chaos, a force that could disrupt even the most stable of orders. Yet, through their struggle and perseverance, they had demonstrated the enduring strength of their resolve and the importance of maintaining balance. The story of Enzo and the theft of the Tablet of Destinies is a tale of ambition, power, and the eternal struggle between order and chaos. It is a reminder of the delicate balance that sustains the cosmos and the lengths to which the divine must go to protect it. Enzo's audacious act and the subsequent battle serve as a testament to the complex interplay of forces that shape the universe and the enduring need for vigilance in the face of chaos. Beneath the shimmering waves of ancient seas, where the light of the sun barely reaches and the depths are filled with whispers of ancient mysteries, there lived a creature of both awe and terror. This was Makara, a sea creature so remarkable and fearsome that it captured the imagination of all who heard its story. To behold Makara was to glimpse the raw power of the ocean, a force both beautiful and terrifying. Makara was no ordinary sea creature. It was a hybrid of a crocodile and a fish, its body a formidable blend of scales and fins, with a mouth lined with sharp, menacing teeth. Its form was majestic and terrifying, a living testament to the ocean's capacity for both wonder and dread. Its tail, a sweeping extension of its aquatic prowess, could stir the waters into a frenzy with a single flick. Legend told of Makara as a guardian of the deep, a creature that watched over the treasures of the sea with an unyielding vigilance. The ancient mariners spoke of Makara with a mix of reverence and fear, for this was a being that embodied the very essence of the ocean's might. To encounter Makara was to face the unpredictable and immense power of the waters, a reminder of nature's untamed force. The symbolism of Makara was deeply embedded in the cultures that revered it. It represented the duality of the ocean, both a source of life and a harbinger of destruction. To the ancient people, the sea was a vast, mysterious expanse that held both the promise of sustenance and the threat of peril. Makara was the embodiment of this duality, a creature that was both protector and destroyer. In depictions, Makara was often shown as a grand, fearsome beast. Its body, adorned with intricate patterns and scales, was both beautiful and menacing. Artists rendered its form with a mix of reverence and terror, capturing the creature's powerful presence and the awe it inspired. The creature's eyes were often depicted as glowing orbs, reflecting the deep, dark mysteries of the ocean depths. One of the most captivating tales of Makara was that of its role in the divine chariot of the goddess Ganga, the river goddess of India. Makara was said to serve as the guardian of Ganga's celestial chariot, guiding it through the heavens and ensuring that the sacred river flowed unhindered. This divine role elevated Makara from a mere sea creature to a symbol of divine protection and purity. In this role, Makara was not just a beast of the sea but a sacred entity that bridged the earthly and the divine. The sea was an unpredictable realm, where the forces of nature were both awe-inspiring and capricious. Makara's presence in this world was a reminder of the ocean's power and the need for respect and reverence. Mariners and travelers who ventured into the deep waters knew that the sea held mysteries that were beyond human comprehension, and Makara was a living embodiment of that unknown. The stories of Makara also reflected the fears and hopes of those who lived close to the sea. To the fishermen and sailors, Makara was both a cautionary tale and a symbol of the ocean's grandeur. It was a reminder of the dangers that lurk beneath the surface and the respect that was due to the forces of nature. Yet, it was also a symbol of the ocean's richness and the life-giving qualities that it held. The creature was both a guardian and a challenge, a powerful force that commanded both fear and respect. In the ancient texts and carvings that depicted Makara, there was often a sense of reverence for the creature's role in the natural world. It was seen as a protector of sacred waters and a symbol of the divine balance that existed between the sea and the heavens. The depictions of Makara were not just artistic representations, but reflections of the deep-seated beliefs and fears of those who lived in the shadow of the sea. Makara's story is one of power, mystery, and reverence. It is a tale that speaks to the heart of what it means to encounter the unknown, to face the forces of nature that are both beautiful and terrifying. The creature's presence in ancient mythology is a testament to the profound impact that the natural world had on the lives of those who lived in its shadow. It is a reminder of the awe and respect that the sea inspired, and the powerful symbols that arose from humanity's attempts to understand and honor the mysteries of the deep. In the heart of ancient India, where the epics of old echo through the ages, there exists a shadowy presence that haunts the pages of history and myth. These beings are known as Rakshasas, shape-shifting demons of immense power and malice, whose stories from the Ramayana and Mahabharata reveal a world of dark enchantments and fierce battles. To know them is to understand the fear and fascination they inspired among those who dared to confront their sinister magic. The Rakshasas were not merely creatures of nightmares, they were beings of profound complexity. Their shape-shifting abilities allowed them to assume any form, from terrifying monsters to enchanting seductresses. This power made them formidable adversaries, capable of infiltrating any realm, be it divine, earthly, or infernal. With their ability to morph into anything their cunning minds could conceive, they sowed chaos and confusion wherever they went. The Ramayana, a timeless epic that weaves tales of valor and virtue, is replete with the deeds of these formidable beings. Among them, the demoness Surpanaka stands out with a story that is both haunting and poignant. Surpanaka, driven by her own desires and vengeance, assumed the guise of a beautiful woman to seduce Rama, the hero of the epic. Her transformation from a seductive enchantress to a vengeful demoness when her advances were rejected is a tale of raw emotion and destructive rage. In a fit of fury, she sought to harm Sita, Rama's wife, leading to a series of tragic events that culminated in the fierce battle between Rama and the demon king Ravana, her brother. Ravana, the demon king of Lanka, was another Rakshasa of immense power and cunning. His story is one of both grandeur and doom. A master of magic and warfare, Ravana's lust for power led him to abduct Sita, the wife of Rama, igniting a war that would shake the very foundations of Lanka. The tales of Ravana's might and his 10-headed visage evoke both fear and admiration. He was a king of unparalleled strength, a master of illusion, and a warrior of great skill. Yet, his arrogance and his desire to surpass even the gods themselves led him to a tragic end. His defeat at the hands of Rama was not just a battle lost, but a reminder of the delicate balance between power and righteousness. In the Mahabharata, the Rakshasas continue to cast their long shadows. Here, the demons take on roles that weave through the epic's complex tapestry of family conflict, duty, and fate. The story of Hidimba, a fearsome Rakshasa who lived in the forest and initially posed a great threat to the Pandavas, is both chilling and tragic. Hidimba, a giant with an insatiable hunger for flesh, confronted the Pandavas with deadly intent. Yet, amidst the terror, a deeper story unfolded. Hidimba's brother, Hidimbai, fell in love with Bhima, one of the Pandava princes, leading to a story of love and sacrifice. Hidimba's eventual defeat and the subsequent union of Bhima and Hidimbai reveal a complexity in the Rakshasas that goes beyond mere malevolence. Another tale from the Mahabharata involves the Rakshasa king, Kichaka. Driven by his own desires and ambition, Kichaka's actions lead to his downfall in a dramatic sequence of events. His villainy and the ensuing conflict underscore the Rakshasas' role as agents of chaos, their actions often bringing about their own destruction. These stories reveal the Rakshasas as more than just demons, they are embodiments of the darker aspects of existence, creatures that challenge heroes and gods alike. Their shape-shifting abilities symbolize the fluid nature of identity and the deceptive facades that can hide true intentions. They are the forces of chaos that disrupt the cosmic order, and their tales serve as warnings of the consequences of unchecked power and ambition. Yet, the Rakshasas are also a reminder of the resilience of virtue and the triumph of good over evil. The battles between the Rakshasas and the heroes of the Ramayana and Mahabharata are not just epic confrontations, they are moral struggles that reflect the eternal conflict between order and chaos. Each tale of a Rakshas's defeat is a testament to the enduring power of righteousness and the inevitable downfall of those who use their power for malevolent ends. In the shadows of ancient myths, the Rakshasas stand as both a terrifying presence and a profound symbol. Their shape-shifting forms and dark deeds weave a tapestry of fear and fascination, revealing the complexities of human nature and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. Through their stories, we glimpse the ancient world's understanding of evil and the indomitable spirit of those who rise to confront it. On misty moorlands and moonlit waters, where the veil between worlds grows thin, ancient spirits stir with a mischievous delight. Two such beings haunt the folklore of the British Isles, weaving tales of both wonder and woe. The Puka and the Kelpie are spirits whose stories are steeped in a rich tapestry of legend, embodying the very essence of nature's whimsy and menace. The Puka is a trickster of the darkest corners of Celtic folklore. Often depicted as a shapeshifter, the Puka can appear as anything from a sleek black horse to a mischievous goat or even a shadowy figure with gleaming eyes. This spirit thrives on chaos and unpredictability, delighting in the confusion and fear it stirs among those who cross its path. The Puka's antics are not merely for amusement but serve as a reminder of nature's wild and untamed side. On quiet nights when the moon hangs low in the sky, the Puka might be seen roaming the countryside, its eyes glowing with a playful malevolence. It would lead travelers astray, guiding them into bogs or over cliffs, only to disappear with a laughter that echoes through the night. To encounter the Puka was to face a creature both enchanting and frightening, a spirit whose tricks could range from harmless pranks to dangerous deceptions. One famous tale tells of a young man who, after a night of revelry, found himself wandering alone through a fog-drenched field. As the mist swirled around him, he encountered a horse with eyes like burning coals. The horse invited him to climb onto its back, promising a ride that would take him home. Mesmerized and weary, he mounted the horse, only to find himself galloping across the fields at a breakneck speed, the landscape blurring around him. The ride ended abruptly as the horse plunged into a deep bog, leaving the young man floundering in the muck. The Puka had played its cruel joke, vanishing into the night with its eerie laughter. In contrast to the Puka's capricious nature, the Kelpie is a water spirit whose malevolent intentions are directed towards the unwary who venture too close to its watery domain. The Kelpie is a shape-shifting creature often seen as a sleek, black horse, but beneath its seemingly docile exterior lies a deadly secret. This spirit haunts the rivers and lochs of Scotland, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. The Kelpie's favorite trick is to lure unsuspecting victims to the water's edge. Appearing as a beautiful, calm horse, it would attract those who wandered near, inviting them to ride. Once mounted, however, the Kelpie's true nature revealed itself. The horse would immediately plunge into the depths, dragging its rider down into the cold, dark waters of the loch. There, the Kelpie would feast on its victim, leaving nothing but ripples and a sense of foreboding in its wake. One chilling tale recounts the story of a young girl who, while gathering wildflowers by the loch, saw a majestic black horse standing at the water's edge. The horse seemed gentle and inviting, and she approached with curiosity. As she reached out to stroke its sleek coat, the horse's form began to shift, its eyes gleaming with a malevolent light. Before she could react, the horse lunged, pulling her into the icy depths. The villagers later found her belongings strewn by the loch, a stark reminder of the Kelpie's deadly allure. Both the Puka and the Kelpie are more than just creatures of myth, they are embodiments of the natural world's unpredictable and often perilous beauty. The Puka represents the wildness and unpredictability of nature, a reminder that even in the most serene landscapes, danger can lurk. The Kelpie, on the other hand, symbolizes the hidden threats of the waters, where calm surfaces can conceal deep and dangerous depths. These stories, passed down through generations, are not merely tales of supernatural beings, but reflections of the human experience with the natural world. They remind us of the balance between wonder and fear, beauty and danger. In the shadows of ancient folklore, the Puka and the Kelpie linger as symbols of the wild and untamed, challenging us to respect the mysterious forces that lie beyond our understanding. In the heart of ancient China, where legends dance with the mists of time, two mythical beings stand as symbols of wonder and transformation. The Chilin and the Huli Jing weave tales of magic, power, and change, captivating hearts and minds with their enchanting stories. The Chilin is a creature of profound beauty and mystery. Often depicted as a dragon-horse hybrid with the body of a deer or horse, covered in scales and with a mane of flowing, fiery hair, the Chilin is a symbol of prosperity and peace. It is said that the Chilin appears only during the reign of a wise and benevolent ruler, marking the arrival of a golden age. One story tells of an ancient emperor who, during a time of great strife and upheaval, longed for a sign of hope and renewal. As he prayed for peace and prosperity, the heavens responded with a magnificent vision. One evening, under a sky painted with hues of gold and crimson, a Chilin appeared in a celestial glow. Its majestic form moved gracefully through the palace gardens, each step imbued with an aura of serenity. The emperor, overwhelmed by its divine presence, understood that the Chilin was a sign that his prayers had been answered. From that day forward, his reign ushered in a period of prosperity and harmony, and the legend of the Chilin became a cherished symbol of hope and good fortune. In contrast to the Chilin's graceful and auspicious nature, the Huli Jing, or fox spirit, represents a different kind of magic, one rooted in transformation and seduction. The Huli Jing is a shape-shifting fox spirit known for its ability to take on the form of beautiful women or charming men. This creature is often depicted with a magical, almost hypnotic allure, using its enchanting powers to beguile those who encounter it. One of the most famous tales of the Huli Jing involves a young scholar named Li Wei. Known for his intellect and virtue, Li Wei's life took an unexpected turn when he met a stunningly beautiful woman in the forest. She was a vision of grace, her eyes shimmering with an otherworldly light. The woman, who introduced herself as Mei Lin, captured Li Wei's heart with her charm and kindness. They soon became inseparable, and Li Wei found himself utterly devoted to her. However, as time passed, Li Wei began to notice strange occurrences. Mei Lin's reflection in mirrors would sometimes shift, revealing glimpses of a fox's eyes instead of human ones. Despite his growing unease, Li Wei's love for Mei Lin remained unwavering. One night, during a full moon, the truth was revealed. Mei Lin transformed before his eyes into a majestic fox with a coat of shimmering silver. The enchantment that had bound Li Wei's heart was broken, but his love and admiration for the fox spirit's true form remained. The Huli Jing, touched by his pure heart, granted Li Wei a boon, a life filled with wisdom and joy. The Chilin and the Huli Jing, though vastly different in nature, both embody profound elements of human experience and aspiration. The Chilin, with its noble and serene presence, stands as a beacon of hope and the promise of prosperity. Its story reminds us of the beauty that can arise from times of darkness and the transformative power of divine grace. On the other hand, the Huli Jing, with its seductive charm and shape-shifting abilities, teaches lessons about the nature of desire and the complexities of love. Its tales remind us that even in the face of deception, true feelings can shine through, and that transformation, whether of the heart or the spirit, is an integral part of life. In the rich tapestry of mythology, these two beings offer a glimpse into the diverse and enchanting world of ancient beliefs. Their stories are not just relics of the past, but living reminders of the human condition and the magical possibilities that lie within the unknown. In the dense, shadowy depths of ancient Mesoamerican forests and along the mist-covered banks of sacred rivers, two fearsome creatures of legend cast their dark shadows. Kamasuts and Awazatl, each with their own chilling lore, evoke both awe and terror in the hearts of those who hear their tales. Kamasuts, known as the Bat God, emerges from the dark corners of Maya mythology. In the Popol Vuh, the sacred Mayan text, Kamasuts is portrayed as a monstrous deity of the underworld, his very name evoking the image of a creature of the night. With the body of a man but the head of a gigantic bat, his presence is both eerie and commanding. His enormous, leathery wings cast a shadow of dread over the land, and his sharp, blood-red eyes pierce through the darkness. The story of Kamasuts begins in a realm of eternal twilight, where he rules over the dark and forbidding underworld. According to the myth, when the hero twins Hunahpu and Xbalanque descended into this shadowy realm during their trials, they faced Kamasuts in a battle of survival. The Bat God, with his terrifying wings and fierce fangs, was a formidable opponent. The battle was not just a clash of strength, but a struggle against the primal fears of darkness and death. The hero's bravery and quick thinking allowed them to outwit the Bat God, but Kamasuts remained a symbol of the dark forces that lurk in the unseen corners of existence. Kamasuts' legend is more than a tale of terror, it reflects the Maya's understanding of the cycles of life and death. The Bat God's dominion over the dark places of the world signifies his role as a gatekeeper to the mysteries of the underworld, a reminder of the balance between light and shadow. Across the sacred waters of Mesoamerica, another creature stirs, a being as enigmatic as it is terrifying. The Awazatl, a water-dwelling monster, embodies the primal fears associated with the untamed elements of nature. Described as a beast with the body of a dog, a face like a monkey, and long, clawed hands, the Awazatl is both grotesque and mesmerizing. The Awazatl is said to lurk in the deep, dark waters of lakes and rivers, waiting for unsuspecting victims to come too close. Legends tell of its eerie call, which mimics the cries of a baby, drawing people to the water's edge. Once the Awazatl has lured its prey, it uses its long, sharp claws to drag them into the depths, where it feasts upon their flesh. The monster's eyes are said to glow with a malevolent light, and its presence alone is enough to send shivers down the spine of anyone who encounters it. One chilling story recounts the experience of a young fisherman who, while casting his net in a remote lake, heard the heart-wrenching cries of what sounded like a lost child. Drawn to the source of the cries, he approached the water's edge, only to be seized by the Awazatl's powerful claws. His cries for help were swallowed by the dark waters, and the lake returned to its eerie silence, leaving behind only ripples and whispers of the beast's deadly presence. Both Kamisats and Awazatl evoke a profound sense of unease, representing the ancient Mesoamerican understanding of the hidden dangers that lie beyond the realm of human control. Kamisats, with his bat-like form and dominion over the underworld, symbolizes the dark forces that govern life and death, while Awazatl, with its deceptive calls and deadly nature, embodies the primal fears associated with the untamed natural world. Their stories serve as powerful reminders of the unknown and the unpredictable, highlighting the delicate balance between humanity and the forces that lie just beyond the edge of our understanding. In the shadows of these ancient myths, the legacy of Kamisats and Awazatl continues to haunt and fascinate, offering a glimpse into the mysterious and often frightening world of ancient Mesoamerican beliefs. In the rolling, sunlit landscapes of South Africa, where the earth meets the sky in a dance of light and shadow, two creatures from ancient myths stir the imagination and send shivers down the spine. The Impundulu and the Grootslang, each a symbol of their culture's deep connection with the natural and supernatural world, command awe and respect through their stories. The Impundulu, known as the lightning bird, is a creature of formidable power and mystery. In the heart of the night, when storms gather and the heavens crack open with brilliant flashes, the Impundulu is said to be at its peak. With feathers like shards of lightning and eyes that blaze with the intensity of a storm, this mythical bird embodies the raw energy of nature's most dramatic displays. Legend speaks of a village shrouded in perpetual twilight, where the Impundulu made its home. The villagers lived in fear of the bird's wrath, for it was believed that the Impundulu could summon storms with a mere flap of its wings, and strike down those who displeased it with bolts of lightning. This fear, however, was not without cause. There was an ancient tale of a young hunter who, driven by curiosity, sought out the Impundulu to prove his bravery. He ventured into the storm-swept forest, determined to find the elusive creature. The night was filled with the crackle of thunder and the eerie calls of the Impundulu. As he drew near, the air grew heavy with the scent of ozone and the ground trembled with each beat of the bird's wings. Finally, the hunter faced the Impundulu, its eyes like fiery orbs in the darkness. The encounter was brief but unforgettable. The hunter, awed and terrified, returned to his village with a new respect for the power of nature, and the Impundulu's legend grew stronger with each retelling. The Impundulu's story is more than a tale of terror, it is a reflection of the power and unpredictability of nature itself. The lightning bird symbolizes both the destructive and rejuvenating forces of storms, embodying the dual nature of life's greatest challenges and its most profound rewards. In contrast, the Grootslang is a creature of an entirely different magnitude, a serpent-elephant hybrid that dwells in the depths of ancient South African caves. With the massive, writhing body of a serpent and the colossal, powerful head of an elephant, the Grootslang is a creature of nightmares and legends. One of the most haunting stories about the Grootslang speaks of a hidden cave, deep within the rugged hills of South Africa, where the beast is said to reside. The cave, known to the locals as the place of the Grootslang, is rumored to be filled with precious gemstones and treasures left behind by the beast's insatiable greed. According to the legend, the Grootslang was created by the gods to guard these treasures, but its greed became its downfall. Driven mad by its desire for more, the Grootslang turned against its creators and became a terror to those who ventured too close. The tale goes that a group of brave explorers, lured by the promise of untold riches, ventured into the Grootslang's cave. Their journey was perilous, fraught with the danger of hidden traps and the constant, oppressive sense of being watched. As they ventured deeper, they felt the tremors of the Grootslang's massive body moving through the earth, its eyes glowing like molten gold in the darkness. The encounter with the Grootslang was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. The explorers, realizing the futility of their quest, fled from the cave, leaving the beast and its treasures behind. Their escape was a narrow one, marked by the thunderous roars of the Grootslang and the rumble of the cave collapsing behind them. The Grootslang's legend serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers that lie in seeking to control or possess the untamable forces of nature. It symbolizes the clash between human ambition and the wild, primordial power that defies all attempts at domination. Together, the Impundaloo and the Grootslang embody the rich tapestry of South African mythology, each creature a powerful symbol of the forces of nature and the limits of human endeavor. The lightning bird and the serpent-elephant hybrid, with their awe-inspiring power and fearsome presence, remind us of the delicate balance between the natural world and our place within it. Their stories, filled with drama and emotion, continue to captivate and haunt the imagination, offering a glimpse into the ancient and profound connections between people and the world around them. In the shadows of ancient forests and the whispers of old legends, bizarre creatures captivate the human imagination, intertwining their fates with our own in ways both profound and unsettling. These mythical beings, from fearsome serpents to shape-shifting spirits, embody recurring motifs that reveal much about the fears, hopes, and values of the cultures that created them. As their tales echo through time, their symbolism continues to influence modern culture, leaving an indelible mark on literature, movies, and art. Take a moment to consider the stories that have been passed down through generations, each filled with strange and wondrous creatures that defy the ordinary. From the Mesopotamian Lamassu, with its lion's body and human head, to the fearsome Hydra of Greek legend, these beings often symbolized the struggle between order and chaos. Their monstrous forms are not just for show, they represent deeper themes of conflict, power, and the unknown. Recurring motifs in these myths often involve the battle between the known and the unknown, the human and the inhuman. Many mythical creatures are portrayed as embodiments of nature's wild, untamed forces, challenging humanity's efforts to bring control and understanding to the world around them. The Hydra, with its many heads regenerating as soon as one is cut off, symbolizes the persistence of chaos and the futility of trying to conquer it through sheer force. Similarly, the Chimera, a blend of lion, goat, and serpent, represents the dangers of meddling with forces beyond human control, a warning that tampering with the natural order brings unpredictable consequences. These creatures also serve as mirrors to our deepest fears and desires. The Minotaur, with its bull's head and human body, embodies the terrifying potential for savagery within every individual, while the graceful yet elusive Benu bird symbolizes the eternal hope for rebirth and renewal. In both cases, these mythical beings reflect our struggle to reconcile the darker and lighter aspects of our nature, portraying complex emotional and psychological landscapes through their stories. The impact of these bizarre creatures extends far beyond the ancient texts in which they first appeared. Modern culture is saturated with their influence, shaping the narratives of countless books, films, and artworks. The grotesque yet fascinating nature of creatures like the Kraken or the Loch Ness Monster continues to inspire awe and fear, proving that the ancient fears and fascinations with such beings still resonate today. In literature, authors draw upon these mythical creatures to create compelling and imaginative worlds. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series, for example, features a host of magical beasts that echo ancient legends, such as the basilisk and the hippogriff. These creatures not only enhance the story's magical elements, but also delve into themes of courage, loyalty, and the struggle between good and evil, mirroring the moral lessons of their mythological predecessors. In cinema, mythical creatures have become icons of fantasy and horror. Films like The Lord of the Rings and Pan's Labyrinth bring to life the awe-inspiring and often terrifying aspects of creatures like trolls, fairies, and dragons. These movies use ancient myths to explore timeless themes of heroism, redemption, and the battle against overwhelming odds, keeping the spirit of these ancient legends alive for new audiences. Art also continues to be deeply influenced by these mythical beings. From the intricate designs of ancient Greek pottery depicting the mighty Chimera to modern digital art that reimagines the grotesque beauty of creatures like the Grootslang, artists draw upon the rich tapestry of mythology to create works that captivate and challenge viewers. The symbolism of these creatures often serves as a backdrop for exploring themes of transformation, conflict, and the boundary between the human and the divine. The enduring fascination with mythical creatures speaks to a universal human impulse to confront the unknown and to find meaning in the mysteries of life. These beings, with their strange forms and extraordinary powers, continue to spark our imagination and curiosity, offering a way to explore our deepest fears and desires. Through their stories, we grapple with the limits of human understanding and the powerful forces that lie beyond our grasp. In the end, the bizarre creatures of mythology remind us of our place in a world that is far greater and more mysterious than we can ever fully comprehend. Their stories challenge us to face the unknown, to confront the shadows within ourselves, and to find wonder in the most unexpected places. The legacy of these mythical beings endures, a testament to the timeless power of storytelling and the unending quest to understand the world and our place within it.